Oh, I bought a new notebook.
Oh, you fill the other one up?
Yeah, yeah. Um, but you know what it's like trying to find those little mini notebooks?
Oh yeah,
You don't want to
especially
know what Office Depot charged me for this. It's crazy.
you went to
Anyway,
Office Depot. I was gonna say maybe like Dollar Tree
Staples.
would have some good ones,
I'm
but
sorry, Staples, but yeah, it was crazy.
mm,
Um, First world problems. That's a first world problem.
no problem.
Oh, so I did a video today about these tests that I was going to have done. It was
Oh,
CT or MRI of my chest and some kind of a abdominal sonar type thing. And I described it as a disability thing. No, it's not disability. It's part of my Medicare, Medicaid, whatever I get for being on disability. They
mm,
pay for it. Once you hit 57, if you're a smoker, they want you to be tested for the big C word in the chest. And evidently, the abdominal area, if you're been a long time smoker, can be a bad area for problems as well. So that's why we're doing it. And as I was getting ready to leave, I took my phone out of Do Not Disturb, and they had left voicemails.
whoops.
Yeah. It was like 9 o'clock. There's nobody needs to call me before 8, and like a very limited number of people can get through my Do Not Disturb before 8,
Right, yeah.
and I forgot to turn it off. Long story short, they couldn't get them done today, so I'd already posted the video. I did not post a different video because I wasn't going to waste everybody's time, so that's why I didn't update it. I saw my neuro yesterday, and everything that I had thought was going to happen happened.
Yeah.
Mr. Johnson, you have some sort of undiagnosed, unknown migraine. We know it's a migraine because the Maltrex you're taking does work on it. And that is his defining way to tell me I have a migraine, because he says that drug won't work on anything except migraines.
Yeah.
So, and then he said you have the occipital nerve issues going on.
Hmm.
I asked if I could have my pain doc do the nerve blocks, and he said not yet. He is sending me to a headache specialist. So I'm on my third specialist now for these migraines. But
Lucky you.
I have to share this part of it though. I live in Texas, right? And you have Dallas, Fort Worth, and the two cities are literally right next to each other. Dallas is like rich, old money, I guess, and new money. Fort Worth is cow money, like cattle money, right? From the old
Oh,
days,
okay.
back in the day.
Yeah.
So calling Fort Worth Cowtown is has been done in Texas for forever.
Okay.
So they have sent me to Cowtown Migraine Assessment Clinic.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah,
That's hilarious. I mean,
evidently, it's one of the best in the state. But they
hey,
go back. But they go by Cowtown. They go by
that's
Cowtown.
funny. I mean, that's a good name, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, welcome to Texas. Welcome
I
to
guess.
Texas. So that's my next step. And they've already called, and I'm going to call them back tomorrow to try to get in to see them. This
Good.
test that I had that didn't happen today, I'm going to do my best to get rescheduled. They've already, the new places called me already to reschedule those. So everything's just kind of in process. I'm a little disappointed I can't get these nerve blocks, because I think that's going to be the only thing that's going to help this specific headache that I'm having.
Yeah.
But that's going to another month to 2 months out from all that. So, hello, Austin.
Ooh.
Good to have Austin here today. Keeping it weird. I hope you are beaching some. Um, well, that's the logo. That's the slogan for Austin. Keep it weird. You didn't know that?
What?
Yeah.
Is it a weird town?
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
been to Austin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
It's a weird town. It's like the music capital of you have like Nashville and LA, but then
Yeah.
you have Austin, like Willie Nelson, you have Stevie Ray Vaughan, you have like Southern rock country, all of that came out of Austin.
Really?
So, yeah.
I know.
So it's
Austin weird.
yeah,
That's so funny.
yeah, the South. We have South by Southwest, which is started out
Oh
as a
yeah.
huge music festival, but now they do music, now they do web, they do internet. It's a whole different type of thing like that.
Yeah.
Austin,
I've heard of
thank you,
that.
Thank you, Donna. Austin City Limits. If you Google that and try to find some of the old episodes of Austin City Limits and you, right? It's incredible, incredible music. So it's weird. Texas. This is as much politics as I'll talk. Texas countryside is extremely conservative. Austin, Houston and Dallas and somewhat Fort Worth are kind of liberal. Austin is like San Francisco and Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, so and that's where the capital is, right? So it's just kind of fun. So
Sarah said, Amy, come visit and we can do the weird things. Would love to come visit, maybe not do the weird things because I don't know what the weird things are. Okay. Would love to come visit, but maybe we'll stay like normal. I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on what the weird things are.
they're fun things.
We're not getting too weird over here, kids.
I mean, we'll get you like to where just outside of Austin and Bastrop, where my folks ended up settling, is a barbecue place that has been around since like 1870. A restaurant opened since 1870. Same family, and it's all barbecue. It is Southside Barbecue. It's the bomb. It is just really good stuff. But yeah, you don't know what barbecue is. Memphis barbecue doesn't come close to Texas barbecue, and so Tennessee barbecue sucks. So
I lived in Texas for a hot minute, very short period of time, but I will say, the barbecue I had was the best barbecue I've ever had, but I didn't make it past Dallas. And I've heard that like Austin and San Antonio have like better barbecue. I don't know if that's true or not. But I'm like, even the stuff I had in East Texas was better than I've ever had in Illinois or Tennessee. So I can only imagine.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. So so I did a video on a crappy nurse this week. I try not to do these videos.
I saw.
I really do try not to do these videos.
Yes, Sarah.
But sometimes, they just set themselves up, And the guy was talking compassion, and I don't think he was very compassionate. But I did a later video after really thinking about this guy's issues. I really think it's trust. I think it's the fact he doesn't trust patients when he's talking to them.
Yeah.
And I've experienced medical staff not trusting because you're a med seeker, right? Mm-hmm. And so I guess the big question is tonight, and what do we do to help establish that trust? I don't have the answer. I don't know. I think every medical team is going to be different. Yeah. And I think that is kind of what we're up against. I want to say, if I go to the emergency room and I'm catching feedback, I just want to say, look at them and say, well, just point blank, what about me makes you think that I'm not being honest?
Right.
And when they go, oh, well, it's just protocol. No. I need to know. What about me makes you think I'm not honest? When I'm telling you that I'm in excruciating pain. And I've been referred here by my pain doctor. If it's after hours, this is where you come for help. So I have a pain doctor who will treat me in the daylight, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not asking for 30 days worth of meds from you. I'm not asking for an exorbitant amount of meds from you. Mm-hmm. I'm asking you to help me get through this pain. So what have I done to you? How did I present myself to you to make you think I'm not trustworthy? And Snarky says, give a good informed history. The more informed the patient, the more providers listen. And I agree with that. And I think that's part of it. I think that's part of what have I done, because I could go through C5, 6 disc blown, C6, 7 been are fused or caged, thoracic 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10 disc blown. Nobody will cage them for me. I can't get anything done there.
Yeah.
L5S1. I have this nerve pain down my leg. I have neuropathy in my feet that's just been traced back to, and I can give all that kind of stuff.
Are they going to listen?
Are they going to listen? Are they going to listen? Is the question. Do we go in with our notebook? Right? Is that something that we should try to do? Because we have all that information in there.
Yeah.
And
Thanks.
Snarky says as well, girl, if you're not following Snarky Pharmacist, you need to. She rocks.
Love
She's
it.
on Instagram as well, so follow her on Instagram too. If possible, get all your healthcare within one system. If possible, yes, I agree with that a bit.
Yeah.
If possible. Scissor Tail says, be calm. Was that and very clear and non-confrontational when we speak.
Don't
It
cry.
helps.
Don't cry, folks. That is a surefire way for them to stop listening, which is hard. I know, because I'm a crier when anytime I have any type of emotion. If I'm too happy, too sad, angry, it comes out with me crying. I can't help it. Like, it's just how I emote, apparently. But you can't cry. That is one thing I tell everybody, you just cannot cry, even though you want to.
And that's kind of even goes back to when we're trying to establish with a new specialist, right?
Yeah.
Try not to get emotional when you describe your issues, right?
Right.
Shelley brings up another great point. Establish what the emergency is.
Yeah.
You know, and this is all great stuff. I am so glad Scissor Tail and Snarky made it to me. I love having really good people and Shelley too. I love having all of you here.
Right.
Scissor Tail,
that we don't want to be here. And I think that's something that I always try and impress upon, especially the emergency room, is I don't want to be here. You don't want me here. I don't want to be here either. But it is so bad that I have to be here. And you just hope that they listen and you hope that they take you seriously, but I can't promise that they're going to, unfortunately. I try and be positive about a lot of things, but you just have to hope that you get a good person and explain to them, like all this advice that everybody's giving, be calm and give a thorough history and explain to them why it's an emergency and explain to them your history and whatever. And those are all great things. And I'm not trying to be a pessimist and saying this isn't going to work, but you have to hope that A, they're going to listen, B, they're going to take you seriously, and they're going to do what is right. And you're kind of just you're at the mercy of them, unfortunately. Like I said, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but these are all great things. If you haven't tried them before, absolutely try and get your point across that way. But
no, you bring up a good point, because that's like the next thing. That's my next step here is what do you do when it doesn't work? When is it time just to throw up the white flag, surrender, and walk away?
Yeah.
Right. Joe says always have a list of medications. I try to do the same thing too. I'm terrible though. I just take a picture on my phone of my list is what I do.
And don't bother lying to them about your controlled substance medication, because they can look that crap up real easily. They can look to see what all prescriptions you pick up from the pharmacy. So I had somebody tell me that long ago was, well, just don't tell them that you're taking, all of this medication. And so I didn't one time. And then the girl was like, just so you know, we can look that up. I was like, oh, great. So just be honest with them about the medication you are taking, because they can and will look it up. So just, learn from my mistakes. They will look it up.
Scissor Tail mentioned that when you run into a buzzsaw, try to go up the chain and ask for an advocate or the charge nurse, and do that politely. And Shelley said you always have the right to ask for another nurse. And this is true. That's really good, solid information. Snarky says,
yes. I didn't know what it was called, but yeah.
PDMP is a track record of controlled substances. Yeah. I know. Is that the one where they keep track of my dog's meds too?
They do, yes.
Because
every controlled substance you pick up from the pharmacy. So whether it's
Well, it's not from the pharmacy, but I was told that in some states they actually track what you get from what your dog gets, like from his vet. Like
Yeah.
one of my dogs is on Xanax, like a really healthy dose of Xanax for his
Hmm.
anxiety, and so we actually have that dog is listed under Valerie
Right.
instead,
Yeah.
instead of
Yes.
me.
Yeah. Because it can work against you. I
You
think,
know, I'm
because they
sure it
track
would.
it all.
They're gonna they're gonna
Yeah.
take you. They're gonna take any chance they can to deny. Snarky says it's called prescription drug monitoring program. All controls depending on the state.
Hmm.
That's just yeah. It's
Yeah.
does
They know it
just
all, so don't even lie to them because I listen. And I was young. I think I was like 22 or something, and I was on basically what I'm on now. And I got advice from some other kid my age, which I shouldn't have taken, but I did
but you
because
were a kid.
I'd gotten treated horribly. So I was like, well, I just won't tell them that I'm on this stuff, and maybe they'll actually give me something for the pain. And so the nurse asked me, she was like, do you take any narcotics? And I said, no. And then she came back in a minute later. She was like, I'm going to ask you again, do you take any narcotics? And I was like, what do you know? She was like, just so you know, we can look it up. So it's just best to be honest with us. I was like, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
I'd have been like, well, it was how you phrased the question. Do I take narcotics? I don't take.
Take
I take them, as in them all. So just it's
them all.
okay. I
Yeah.
take them all. I take them all. Um, it's there's no easy way, right? Because like I think, unfortunately, we run into an invisible community, and I don't think it's just pain patients. I think it's people with POTS or people with mental health issues. We run into, unfortunately, uh, but maybe it's just because it's my lived experience and I'm skewed. I feel
Yeah.
that we run into buzzsaws more than the typical non-invisible person if they went to the emergency room, right?
Yeah. But I
And
also think that we go to the doctor a lot more. So our probability of running into a buzzsaw, I feel like, is more as well. But we're the complicated patient. If my husband goes to the doctor, he's easy. So yeah, they're gonna treat him nice or whatever. But sorry, I'm gonna like go on a hard left here for a second. But I saw a TikTok today that said it was from a chronically ill girl. And she said, I have never loved going to the doctor more than when I go for like the flu or strep throat. She was like, I am treated so well. I go in, they believe me, they believe my symptoms, they give me medication right away, and I'm out the door. And I was like, you know what? That's so true. Like, we're believed when we go to the doctor for the flu or strep or a cold. They believe you right away. They don't question your symptoms, and they have a plan of action ready to go.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, that's so true. But anyway,
Um,
sorry.
just a real quick side note. Congratulations. We made it roughly 29 minutes before we got restricted tonight.
What did we get restricted for?
We broke community guideline violations. That's all it tells you. So
But we
we're
didn't
the
do anything.
doesn't matter. But yeah, you're right. When we go to when people go
Hey, what
with those
happened?
with the I don't know. I think it's the restriction. So I should still get the videos to download. I think they only kill the videos for me to download when we get kicked off. So, but anyway, I think when normies go to what happens though is we're restricted, so we won't be on the FYP. We won't be anything like that. Um, when normies go, I just feel they're treated different. But mainly maybe it's because it's for the flu or it's bronchitis or it's pneumonia. But here's the thing: I don't want to speak out of turn for Valerie, but I am. We were just in the ER in Fort Worth, right?
Yeah,
Which was atrocious.
I was
I've
gonna ask.
never been, and I've been in some sketchy places in my life, and not
Believe it.
voluntarily. I've been in some sketchy places.
Believe it.
They literally had people stacked against the wall. Like triage was quick. They would triage you really quick, and then they would put you either in like a little like office setting with uncomfortable chairs, or they would put you against the wall with a number above you, like on a cardboard sign, right? And then they had coat rack hangers going all the way down that wall. So if you had an IV, they'd have a place to hang the IV. I kid you not.
Stop.
I kid you not. And the doctors she dealt with were good. The nursing staff was good. The techs were great. It was just it was atrocious. I would hate to see that place on a Saturday night,
I was gonna say,
or a
even
Friday
like,
night. Yeah, it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Um, but she walks in. She's not normie. She's got ATS, Anderson-Twill syndrome, which is a very complicated disease. She has other complications going on, but they
yeah,
don't know that when she comes in, right?
yeah.
But I think as soon as we walk in and we say it's pain, or as soon as we walk in and somebody unfortunately says lupus, or somebody says um, POTS, or somebody says I'm having some mental health issues and my anxieties, it's like
Back to the line.
yeah, back of the line, back on the line. And it's a stigma. It is a stigma. And but I wanted to talk about how we can try to get these relationships better because I want us to all be more successful.
Hmm.
Like Snarky and Shelly and Sister Tail are blessings because they have really good ideas on things to do because we have
Hmm.
to a lot of times for us in the visible community we have to take this health in our own hands and be more politely aggressive to get care. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No,
You know,
absolutely. I mean, what I
so
think we talked about this last week that nobody's coming to save us.
yeah,
We
nobody.
literally have to figure this out and be our best advocate. And even though I have come across many a buzzsaw who hates an educated patient, I am still going to be the most educated patient you're going to see because it does help. And the more articulate you can be, and I know this is going to sound really stupid, and maybe this is just my experience, but I have found that if I use medical terminology, they take me a little bit more seriously. And that has not been my case, especially when I was working in the medical field. I felt like anytime I mentioned that I worked at the hospital that I went to or I worked in the medical field, I immediately got told, oh, medical professionals are always the worst patients. And I'm like,
Yeah.
great. But I have found now, being a normal member of society and not working in the medical field, that if I use medical terminology, they do tend to take me a little more seriously. I don't know. May just be me. Also, like, I don't know, but I think we have to be educated because nobody's going to help us. Like, I mean, I hope that everybody here finds a unicorn doctor and finds somebody who takes them seriously and helps them and gets to the root of it. I wish that for every single person here. But the chances of that happening are not great. So we have to be that provider for us and we have to be educated and we have to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's not easy.
It's not. And before I lose it again, Scissortail also brought up if you can take somebody with you. If you want them to if you want to call them an advocate, great. I've found that I don't ask them to be my advocate. Just go there and be in my corner
Yeah.
because some people get caught up in terminology and but I've never when all the times I've been in the ER with Valerie have I ever said but I've almost flew across the hospital the gurney to tackle a doctor one time with her. Yeah, it was pretty special. It was a pretty special time, you know. Um, Ricky says, if you go to the ER for pain, be specific on where your pain is, not all over, not everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leslie says, I go about it saying my My job's in behavioral health. I don't know what you do. There you go.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a good way to phrase it.
Moonchild says she doesn't like wearing their scrubs, because it's
Yeah.
so yeah. I
I
mean,
get it. Because there were times that I would, when I was working in the hospital, that I would leave work and go down to the emergency room because I could not drive. Like, I was in so much pain, I would not be able to drive home. Even my coworkers and my boss were like, you need to go to you need to go down there. And the first thing people would be like is, are you a nurse? You work here? And I'm like, I'm not a nurse, but I do work here, yes. And they're like, oh, great. Medical professionals, you're the worst patients. What do you think is wrong with you? And I'm like, well, and usually I would name drop like a doctor and be like, well, Dr. So and so, I was up on his floor rounding today and he told me to go to the ER. And they were like, oh, doctor? I'm like, yeah. But it's like they would always, if I showed up in my scrubs, it was like, I would no chance in hell that they would take me seriously.
but this whole conversation also goes back when we did the Bias Project, and how for ladies, and I'm not trying to speak for y'all. I'm just going off what the studies say. Okay, I'm not speaking for anybody here, but studies can show if you go in all dressed up in a business suit, you're taken less serious because you look professional and you look fine. If you go in your sweats, just like you haven't showered in 3 or 4 days because you've been beaten down so much, you're going in as a drug seeker because you look like that. You go in wearing lipstick. Well, if if they had time to put makeup on, they must be feeling good, So I can't imagine how y'all. And then you have the lack of trust in some of the healthcare workers. It's like so stacked. It's like so stacked. You guys are like the heroes in this because. But again, I think that, and unfortunately, in the end, that's why so many of us and y'all don't go to the ER.
Yeah.
Unless we're dying.
Yeah.
Or we think it's dramatic. I would go for a broken leg or a kidney stone. I had exceptional luck the times I've been to this local hospital with pain issues. But it's just been unicornish random, so
I think I may have said this in a comment on your video, or maybe I told somebody this. I don't know. I forget what I say sometimes. But that, with trust, it's such a difficult thing because, like, I would say 5 years ago, I trusted my medical professionals with my life. Like, I believed in what they were doing. I trusted them with my life. Like, I believed in what they were doing. I trusted them. The season of life I'm in right now, I do not trust any of them as far as I can throw them. And that is something I know I need to work on because I'm at the point that I need to have another surgery. But I just don't trust anybody to not screw it up or to not know exactly what they're doing. And it's like, how do you learn to trust again when you've been screwed over so many times by this medical system? It's like you get to a point where you're like, I'm done trusting, but it's like your body, you're chronically ill, you're chronic in pain, you have, spinal issues, so you can't, you have to trust at some point because you're going to have a surgery, you're going to have a procedure, you're going to have something done. Mm-hmm. But it's like, how do you get to that point that you are willing to put your life back in somebody else's hands? And I'm hoping that this year I get to that point because I've been putting off surgery for 2 years now. So I'm getting to the point that I'm going to have to suck it up. But it's like, how do you get to that point?
That'll be that's a whole other live that we can do. And we'll label that one medical PTSD, medical trauma.
Like, how do you get
to process that? Because that's what Dr. Pena did to me. And so many of us have experienced is trauma and gaslighting and where we don't trust, right?
Yeah.
But when you go to the ER, my level of trust has to begin at the poor person that's going to stick me for an IV.
Oh,
I have to
absolutely.
trust them that they're going to do that, right?
Hmm.
And they're always like, "Well, which arm?" And I'm like, "What? You're the expert. You're the
Yeah.
specialist. You take whatever arm you want, because I don't know what's going on." And I try to establish that there,
Yeah.
that base
Like, I
there.
don't
But
know.
real quick, Beach and Sun had a question. They said, "What is unicorn?" Um, in the scope of a unicorn doctor, it's something that's extremely rare, and a lot of us don't ever think they exist until we find one. Hence, a unicorn, right? And
Yeah.
you don't ever see a unicorn. A unicorn doctor is one that actually cares and takes good care of you, um, and works with you. Is willing to treat the entire patient.
Mhm.
Like they understand that yes, I have blown it. Like my sometimes unicorn, sometimes not. Doctor knows that if I'm in physical pain, my mental is jacked up as well, which means my physical activity is less, and so he treats the entire me the best that he
Mhm.
can, instead of constantly going in and being told the only solution for you, like my previous doctor Pena, the only solution is a nerve stimulator or steroid shots, or another classic example that Pena did would give me enough pain medicine to keep me out of the ER.
Yeah.
Not enough to have a quality of life, but keep me out of the ER.
Yeah.
So there's a difference. A unicorn is going. He wants you to. A unicorn necessarily isn't going to take your pain to zero, but they want you to have quality of life, and they'll get you to where you can have a quality of life, which for me is a 5. I told my doc, get me to a 5, I'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I think that I hope that answers what, in my opinion, when we say unicorn, what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, Scissor Tail says your doctor should help you thrive and not just survive, and that's it.
Yes. Amen.
And but like I've said, and like Dr. Mike has said, a pain plan is not just a pill.
Mm-mm.
It's not. And for anybody looking for Dr. Mike, he's on YouTube and he's active. He's doing lives on YouTube.
Great.
DrMikeSays.com. You can go there and get his book. Amazon, his book's coming out on Kindle like within a week.
Oh, no
For
way.
like $10 on Kindle. Anyway, I want to put a little plug in there. But so like my unicorn understands that I want to go do a little bit of walking if I can. So
Yeah.
he treats me to where I can get that done because he knows the mental benefit
Mm-hmm.
of me accomplishing that will make what pain I have a little less. Won't feed on it nearly as much. So
Yeah.
does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I don't think I left anything out there specifically.
And I think we've talked about this before, but I'm just going to reiterate it because I think it is important that the goal of pain management isn't to get you to a 0 out of 10 pain. I don't think you're ever going to meet a pain management doctor if you ask them what the goal is, that's not the goal. The goal is to give you back a quality of life. And what a quality of life looks like is different for every single person. But that's what the goal is. So I think maybe not a lot of people, but I do think there are some people who, if they're not at a 0, their doctor isn't being successful or their doctor isn't doing enough for them. But that's not the real goal of pain management. Because if that was the goal of pain management, that life would be very different for a lot of people. The goal is for you to have a quality of life again. You can be disabled and have a quality of life. You can still live a life that is worth living. And I think that is the goal for all of us. And if that's a 5 for you, great. If that's a 4 for somebody else, or a 6 or a 7, whatever that looks like for you, that's what we all need to be striving for. For sure.
Love it. I love it. I love how you describe it because it's true. And unfortunately, I know people who are shooting for that 1 and who are mad at their doctors for not getting them to the 1.
Right.
And I try to gently let them know that, hey, listen, he's giving you X. He's trying to help, but
Yeah.
you can do this now that you're at this level. So be grateful that you can that's a whole other. I should do a Dr. Phil show one time and have
I
people
love Dr. Phil.
have her on. Oof, that would be awesome. So, I want to touch on the subject of change direction, nerve burnings. Nerve abulation, is that the word I'm looking for?
Nerve ablations.
Thank you. I've had somebody ask, and I can't find the comment or will respond to it there. Nerve ablations. I'm different. I'm a fan.
Right.
They have worked for me, and I've had in my thoracic. They've actually have done 4 attempts, and 3 were successful. And I've had 2 attempts at L5 S1, and neither one of them worked.
Yeah.
So, why do I think it didn't work in the low end? It's because Dr. Pena here in Granbury, Texas, did them.
Yeah.
The nerve blocks that were put in, temporary nerve blocks that were done in Las Vegas to prove they would worked. But I get here with Pena, and he missed it twice. But that since they didn't work, automatically said you need to get. See, I told you they wouldn't do anything. You need a nerve stimulator. So, I think if you have a good doctor that can get them, I've had 4 in thoracic. They got the first 2. They got like right away because I have 3 belong first shot. And insurance company, we don't let them do 2 joints at a time. So they went back. They did 7, 8, 8, 9, and they went back to do 9, 10. Missed it completely. Didn't do anything. I went back again. Same doctor, my doctor, and he got it. He found the right spot that time. Yeah. And people will tell you they go 4 months to 6 months, maybe 8 months. These thoracic ones, I've had it done. Actually, I've had it done more than that because I've had the thoracic done twice. I forgot about that. The second round in thoracic have lasted over almost 2 years for me.
Wow. That's amazing.
So he must have burned like about 6 inches.
Yeah. Holy cow. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody's lasting that long. Wow.
They really have. And they've started to be problems again, but not anything like it was before they were burned the first time.
Yeah.
So
Christy, she asked, what is a nerve block and ablation? So an ablation is when they go in and burn the nerves, like cauterize it. And like the only way it'll grow, like it has to grow back in order for the nerve to regenerate. So they go in and cauterize that stuff. A nerve block, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's when they go in and do like a steroid or a type of injection around the nerve to kind of like deaden it or to put some type of medicine around it. But the ablation is when they go in and actually burn it to kill it. And from my understanding, it can grow back at its own rate, depending on you as a person. It can grow back as quickly as a couple months, or apparently, Keith, it can take a couple years for you to grow back. Yeah. Because that's a really long time. But it depends on your body, is how quickly your nerve can regenerate and, kind of fire again and have those sensations.
And the thing with them, though, is the more you have them done, the less successful they're going to be. And their logic, the way it was explained to me, is that when they burn it, it's done radio frequency is what they actually use to burn. When they do it the first time, it separates, and the nerves are like, where's it? And then it knows where the other end is, and it goes straight back to it.
Yeah.
And you burn it again, and it's like, I guess we'll try growing back together. You burn it the third time, they're like, this son of a bitch isn't going to find me this time to do this. And then it will actually start winding its way around in different things to move itself to where it's harder and harder for to get done.
Who is that?
Susan Beck.
I have been awake and sedated for both of them. I have had more than anybody should have done. I have had about 40 nerve ablations done with the entire with my entire cervical spine. They went from C1 all the way down to C7 trying to figure it out. So I think we calculated it, and it was about 40 different procedures. None of them worked, but I was awake without any sedation for, I would say, about half of them. And then I went to a different doctor, and he gave me like some sedation. It didn't hurt. They numb the area so you don't really feel anything. And I didn't have, you're sore afterwards a little bit just from the injections and them like poking you. But I mean, nothing. It was easy. Like, it was an easy procedure, which is why I had it done so many times, because I was hoping that it would help. And if they found a different level, that it would help. And, but I think, it was one of the easier things I've had done for sure.
I can't believe your insurance company covered to go down that far.
Oh yeah.
That's,
I had a really good doctor. This is when I lived in Texas. I lived in Texas for like 3 years, maybe, like not even. I had a really good doctor, and he convinced the insurance company to pay for it all. He just kept trying. So, yeah.
Yeah, but I think you're right that the financial aspect is why they may put you to sleep too. I've had both, and I prefer to be knocked out. And here's my logic: it's because I don't trust me.
Yeah,
I do not trust me one bit. And they've got this thing down in my back next to my spine, and they're searching for a nerve to burn. I don't want to sneeze. I don't want to fart. I don't want to like have an itch somewhere, anywhere that's going to cause an issue, right? I'm sorry if it's TMI, but I mean, serious. I don't want that to happen. And so I feel it's better if they knock me out to lessen the opportunities for me to screw it up.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you don't
imagine you being like, Doc, I'm sorry, I feel some gas coming on. Can you just wait a minute?
Yeah, Kristen, I mean, don't stress over not being knocked out. Try not to stress. I can't tell you what to do. It's not, for me. I've had so many needles stuck in me. It's a little uncomfortable, but it wasn't the end of it. I've had, when Pena stabbed me, and when he decided to do the sciatic joint injections in his office with no lidocaine, Novocaine on the skin, no nothing, and he stabbed me there, that hurt. That was excruciating. But when they do the topical numbing and stuff like that, I could feel them inside, but it didn't. Right. When the nerve was burned, I had no idea, right?
Yeah,
that it.
You don't feel that part.
Yeah, so that part doesn't hurt. So I hope that answered. I hope the person who's watching, or if not, I can tell them to go watch the video of this and tell them to fast forward. Because I don't want people to be afraid. I know they don't. I'm not here to tell you that everybody should have them because it's going to work for you. Everybody's different. Everybody. Some people, steroid injections work, and they've been gods and blessings for them, right? They don't work for me, So I want everybody to be able to try something that they want to try that may help them be a little bit better physically.
Yes. And I think it's just going back to being an educated patient. Like, if you know the risks involved, you've done your research on it. Like, if somebody's just telling you to go do this and you haven't done any research on it or looked it up or did anything, I would then caution you. But if you're an educated patient and you've done the research on what it looks like, what it entails, the side effects, is it FDA approved? Is it not? If that means anything to you, do your research, and then by all means, try it. It may work for you. It didn't work for me, but that doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. And, I think depending on your diagnosis and what's going on, there's a reason that they do it, because it works for some people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just goes back to knowing your options and determining if the pros outweigh the cons.
And I think it also goes back to things I talked about before is what's our level of comfort for things that we will try
Yes.
to appease the doctor and the hoops that we'll jump through and stuff like that. I think that falls into there too. For me, if I went and saw Dr. Leak next week and he said, "Hey, for your low back, let's do a nerve ablation," I'd be like, "All right, schedule it," you know. But I would definitely try that numerous times, just because I don't. He knows I'm against the nerve stimulator.
Yeah.
So.
I agree. I hope that one day more holistic approaches will be covered by insurance.
Yeah.
But unfortunately not, because I was literally just today I was recommended this new place in Nashville that is supposed to get to the root cause of things and, you know, all these wonderful things. Yeah, they don't take insurance, obviously. But a 3-month program starts at $3,100.
What?
3 months, just a 3-month program of them doing some testing and trying to get to the root cause of things was $3,100. And I was like, well, cannot be doing that. Nope, that's not an option for me right now.
That's like this allergy test I just went and had done, right? My co-insurance was $60, which was co-insurance is 20% of whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
They told me that my insurance would cover part of the treatments if I come back with allergies, right? And I'm like, well, great. They're like, yeah, you'll have a 20% co-insurance there. I'm like, dang, I hate starting over the new year, blah, blah, blah. I got to pay. And I'm like, well, just for shits and giggles, what's like an average treatment, allergy treatment cost? Well, they're all different. I'm like, just grab one. Right. I need to know. And he goes, well, they could range anywhere from $1,000 to $1,300 to $1,500 per treatment. And I'm on the phone, and I'm like, well, get the hell out of here. And he's like, well, but they work. And I'm like, I honestly, I said, do you understand how much plasma I got to sell to get this done? And I don't have enough plasma in my body. I'd be like living at the plasma donation place. And you try to find a plasma donation place in East Nowhere, Texas, where there's more cows and goats than people. They're not all over the place, so they're not common. And he didn't understand that I wasn't made out of money,
Yeah. It's just, and it's like, the funny thing is with these places or with like functional medicine doctors, like, they are the most beneficial for people with chronic illnesses. They are the most beneficial for people who are sick. But it's like the people who are sick are probably on disability, or they're not able to work, so they're in a one-income house. They can't afford this. Like, the people who actually need it the most are the ones who can't afford it. And then you have the people who just think something's wrong with them or just want to be healthier, who can afford it, come in and get all this testing done. And it's like, I mean, the last doctor's office I worked at had a functional medicine provider. 90% of the people who went there were rich housewives who just wanted to be healthier. They didn't have anything wrong with them. They just wanted to see, their friends were seeing a functional medicine doctor. So we want to have how to be healthy. I want to eat healthy. I want to have all these tests done to see what's going on with my body. And I'm like, you do realize that, like, the population who needs this and could actually benefit from it, nobody can afford that. Not a single person.
No.
Blows my mind. Hated it there.
You want to change directions here?
Yes.
You want to do tea tonight?
Yes, I'm so excited about the tea because I'm not the one giving it. I can't wait to listen and just soak it in.
All right, this is since Amy's been under the weather, she hasn't been able to sit outside and spy on her neighborhood. So I figured I would share my tea tonight and get y'all's opinion on it. Not too long ago, my dad passed away. And it was rough, and it's still rough. In fact, his birthday was just the 19th of January. And when he passed, my mom had already she's been gone for several years. So the will, my older sister was the administrator. And then so it was my sister Kim, myself, and my brother Chris. And so my sister, she's the school teacher. She's the responsible one. So she's the one that was dad chose as the administrator, which is probably the best executor, best decision, right?
Yeah.
And so in the will, my dad just divided everything pretty much equal between the three kids. My sister got a little bit more, but she deserved it. I had no problem with that. So we move on. Life continues. We were blessed with my dad was able to leave us something. And I was talking with my sister. My brother's wife brought children into their marriage, and so now they're out of high school and everything like that. And it's been rough. They may not be the best behaved kids. I'm just going to put it like that. So my brother, using inheritance, has been paying for, I guess she'd be my niece, for her apartment. Well, the niece called the executor of the will, my sister, and demanded to know where her money was out of the will. And my sister's like, there ain't no money in this for you. Granddad divided it between his three kids. If you're getting anything, it's coming from your dad, from Chris.
Yeah.
It's not coming from Keith or I. So that pissed the niece off, right? Because they need money because they're in Texas and they're moving to Arizona where her real dad lives to go move in with him, but they need money to do this, right? So they're trying to get money. She's trying to get money out of my dad's estate. So anyway, so my sister told her to go. She's like, get the hell out of here, leave me alone. So she's filed suit against my dad's estate for payment that she felt she deserved out of the will, right? It's all been through probate. It's been so there's nothing left. I mean, it's been split between the three of us, and so once my so-called niece is figuring this stuff out, and so what did she do? She get even more mad at my brother, and so she remember I said my brother's been paying her apartment rent, right, since my dad passed. She went and got a restraining order against my brother because he wouldn't give her money, even though he's been paying her rent, right? And the court case, it makes no sense.
What?
It makes no sense.
What logic?
There is none in this family. I could talk to you about my brother's wife and their kids and those. I'm not going to. But to top it off for my brother, it's even better because my brother's had some serious trouble in the past, right? So he had to go he got an attorney on retainer to help fight the TRO, just to fight the TRO, right? $7,000 is what he had to give the attorney for a retainer because of his history. My brother's past.
Holy Moses. What? That is insane. I would be like, not worth it, sir. I'm fine. Restrain me. I don't need to see her. It is fine.
But he can't lose the TRO because when she's filing suit against him for financial, because he did all bad things in the past and he was a bad stepdad and everything like that. So he has to have an attorney win this TRO case. So when he gets sued, you want off that medical.
That is insane. That is like Jerry Springer family drama right there. What? Where is her mom in all of this? Like, what is she saying?
She's sleeping next to my brother every night. I mean, yeah. So
what? Be like, okay. Be like, tell your daughter. Be like, sis, like, you need to calm down. Like, I'm also giving you this money. Like, we're married. I'm also giving you this money. Like, stop, knock it off.
Yeah.
What? They do need Dr. Phil. Geez, they need Jerry Springer and Dr. Phil because I feel like there's going to be, chairs flying at each other.
I want to watch Judge Judy.
Bodyguard.
Yeah, Jennifer, I want to watch Judge Judy adjudicate this case.
Where is
Uh,
Judy?
So that's my tea. That's my
That
tea.
is bananas. I would be like, girl, get you.
That would be
You said she's married?
my no.
No.
She had a boyfriend, and then she became a lesbian, and she was going to marry her female fiance at my dad's house before my dad passed. So my dad spent thousands of dollars to get the house, and then they canceled the wedding, which got her kicked out of the apartment there. And so my dad ended up paying for her rent for a little bit because she had no place to go. And then just before my dad passed, she got knocked up, and her new fiance male came to the wedding with my brother and his wife and their other two sons in in Texas football jerseys and shorts to the
Wow.
to the to the funeral, and
Classic.
walked out halfway through. So
Wow. Well, that was a ride that I was not expecting to go on just then. Thank you for that. Whoa, that was a roller coaster of emotions, to be honest with you. I'm gonna need a minute to process that.
so
I
anyway,
don't know what just happened.
that is
Um,
your Tuesday tea, y'all, right there. You know.
I'm gonna have to step up my tea after this. I mean, jeez Louise. I don't think I'm gonna have anything to top that. Jeez. You've been holding out on this for a long time. Wow, that I have a lot of questions, to be honest with you. I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Wow.
so that's
I'm
my tea.
assuming she's like young. She's like in her 20s, maybe.
Yeah, she's in her 20s. Yeah, she's in her
Wow,
20s.
I mean, listen, she's made a lot of life decisions in the past couple of years. That's
That's a lot. That's a lot. So,
I needed a good laugh. You know what? Thank you. I really needed that in my soul because I have not laughed in a very long time.
laughing at my brother's expense. And the thing is, my brother and I, we are not close. Oh, I left the best for you. Won't. Hang on. While we're talking about his wife, right?
Yeah.
So we're at my brother and his wife, and two of the sons lived with my dad as my dad was going in through end of life, and they destroyed my dad's house. They destroyed my dad's house. I can send pictures of what they did to my dad's house. It was atrocious. So after my dad passes, we're there from Vegas. My sister and her husband are there from Florida, and the house. We have people coming in, relatives coming in from Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, all over the country, right? And we're having the after service at the dad's house, and so we got to get the house clean because you couldn't really walk through parts of it, right? And there was a lot of tension because how did you guys let it get like this?
Yeah.
How did you let my dad live in this mess, right? And it I remember we were standing in the hallway by the kitchen, and I said, oh, my dog bit one of their kids, right? And we told him, don't go in that room. He went in that room, he got bit. I ain't giving a shit, kid. He's 16.
Oh,
Don't go in the room, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So his overprotective mom started yelling at me, gonna have you arrested because your dog bit my kid and everything, and I'm giving it right back to her. And she gets like this up in my face, and she's like, hit me. Just hit me. I'm like, what? Just hit me. Just please hit me so I can call the cops and have you arrested.
Like,
And
yeah.
I looked at her and I'm like,
Lizzie?
if I hit you, you're not getting up. But
Yeah,
I have my dad's service tomorrow, and I'm not going to spend time in jail. I'm going to my dad's service instead. And I dropped some other choice words, and they all just took off from it. So
yeah, you're like, what? I love when people say that when they're in the fight, like, hit me. And I'm like, you could only wish. Like, sir, you think I'm going to hit you? and you're just going to walk away from this? Like, no, sir. If I'm hitting you, you're in the ground.
No, and there's it was So
I mean,
we have
something,
history.
but
We have history. So
yeah.
on that note, I feel bad because we've lost some people, and I want to do victories, and I hope people didn't leave and not share their victories because I was sharing crappy tea. But does anybody have victories tonight? Does anybody have victories? Anything from getting a shower tonight? And I'm going to say one, Valerie, if you haven't fallen asleep yet, share yours because that was a huge victory you had today. Did you have a good doctor's visit? Joe took a shower. There you go. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I survived making several trips to doctor's appointments, long car drives. I'm taking that. Valerie got a shower tonight. We may have had to put trash bags around the kitchen table to put it in the shower for her, but it worked.
Okay.
It worked, so she got a shower. Tara says, I had a successful appointment with a pain corrective specialist provider. That is awesome. Yeah. Tara, you deserve. Tara, if there's anybody on this planet that deserves a victory, kiddo, it's you. Erica, wash my bedding, hubby's bedding in a bath. Oh, they're going to fast. A short trip to Walmart. That is awesome. Advo, did you say something? Did I miss one? I washed dishes today. Advo, hallelujah. I've been putting dishes off in the sink for 3 days now because I'm not doing them.
I put them in the dishwasher. Does that count?
Yeah, I don't have a dishwasher. Ricky, I drove holy shit. Ricky, I drove for the first time in 2 months since my last spinal surgery. It was painful, but good. Holy crap, that is awesome.
And she got her hair done today.
That is so cool. And I know I missed one because somebody had a good doctor's appointment. And did I miss? I know it's there. Where did it go? So this is all good stuff.
Susan survived the day. You know what, Susan? I that is a victory. I survived the day. We survived the day. That is a victory. We are here one more day, and we need to celebrate that as well.
Leslie found a unicorn doctor. Look at this. Leslie found a unicorn. Went to pain management and had an amazing visit. Oh, that's like keeping it under kind of wraps because you told me more about it. They had a freaking incredible visit. The doctor listened. The doctor answered. This is beautiful. Ricky driving. Valerie and Joe getting the showers, finding a unicorn. This is all so beautiful. This is so good. I needed this. You guys have no idea. Around here lately, it's the disabled taking care of the disabled, and Valerie and I are exhausted. So knowing that some of the stuff is going on is just it makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so good. Even doing dishes though, because I'm serious. I've told Valerie for the last 2 days I'm going to do them tonight. And I haven't, and they're not going to get done tonight, and it's just not happening, because I don't have it in me. I just don't have it in me, so.
That's okay because there's tomorrow, and we will try again tomorrow because we're just gonna keep pushing. And my saying is that it has to get better. It has to. Tomorrow's gonna be a better day. It just has to be, and that is what I tell myself every day. Has today been a better day? No, but tomorrow will be. It just has to be. So, and we're gonna keep pushing. And if you didn't have a victory today or this week, you're going to have one soon, and I truly believe that for everybody. If you didn't have one this week or you've been in a flare up, don't be discouraged because I have been there. I have been beating myself up, and we're not going to do that because we are going to have we're all going to have a victory sooner rather than later. And I know we are. I know it.
Eventually, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I did a video for YouTube only today, by the way. So that's up there.
I missed it. I'll have to go look.
It talks about some advice I got from a person and how I think I needed to handle it. And so I like YouTube because it's more personal, it feels like, than what TikTok is. Dr. Mike's doing lives, and his videos are going good. So people need to go there to check out Dr. Mike. So yeah, it's been this is much needed for me tonight. I don't know about you guys, but this is needed tonight. And I didn't even have to get into the book titles that I had saved up.
Oh,
We'll get to those.
yeah.
We'll get to those next week.
We'll save
So,
it for next week.
you have any parting shots, Miss Amy? Any last bits of permanent, really good Amy advice? Because everybody trusts y'all's, not me.
Well, you're very sweet, but you probably shouldn't be taking advice from me, at least not right now. But thank you all for being here so much. I'm going to say it probably every single week, and you'll get sick of me saying it, but I'm so thankful for each and every one of you. These lives mean so much to, I know, Keith and I, and especially whenever, I know I'll speak for myself, but I'm sure Keith feels the same, is that especially when I have been in this flare for 2 weeks now, and I don't feel like I can do anything or I can go on, I look forward to these nights, even though I'm going to have to be on or whatever. I get the sense of community and knowing you guys are all here rooting for us and cheering each other on. It fills my heart with so much joy. And I don't think this community means so much. And I know you guys know that. But, especially whenever somebody's down or struggling, having this community to come to and forget about stuff for an hour or laugh about our tea or, just have a good conversation means the world. And I am so thankful for you guys. And I love you all so much. So thank you for being my distraction for the past hour because I needed it. I needed it real bad.
I've got very little I can say on top of what Amy just said there. These lives are important to me, and you guys, this community is important to me. With TikTok going through changes, this whole subscriber stuff. I still have subscribers somehow or another because people can't subscribe. But everybody's important to me, and just know that when I post stuff, I post it because I think about you guys, and I'll watch your videos. And you guys, your videos, like I said earlier, wanted to speak Tara's video, just like a 2x4 upside the head, and that I needed. So be there for each other, support each other. Yeah, Dixie, I know nobody can subscribe right now. We don't have, next week we'll talk about how I want to do something for the animal shelter because it's been forever. So we'll figure something out. So if you need something, email me, keithcpp@gmail.com. Find me at Keith in Texas on Instagram, or We Are Invisible No More on YouTube. Joe was doing an incredible job still on the YouTube page. Or you can try to send me a message and I'll try to get through them because I've really gotten them down to where they're not a whole lot that are out there. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you for hanging with us tonight. And y'all please be safe. And I hope everybody's just a little bit better tomorrow. We'll see you guys.